Hey everyone, welcome back to Miata Everything. Today we are replacing a valve seal gasket. Now all you'll need is a 10 and 12 millimeter socket with a ratchet wrench and some pliers for a little hose. And obviously you need a new seal. I will link that in the description below. So you first take off this bolt right in the front of the engine that's holding on this vacuum tube that goes into your intake. That's just a 10 millimeter bolt, and you'll take that out. You just take that puppy off. And then you want to unclip that. This one will just slide out just like that, and I just set it aside, and it wasn't in the way for me. Put that bolt back in so you don't lose it. It's just easy that way. And then you're going to take out this sensor. It's another 10 millimeter bolt, and again, you just take that one off. Now, I just set the sensor aside on my intake. I would recommend putting the bolt back to where you took it off, so again, you know exactly where it is. And now you're going to take your PCV valve off. This was a little stuck for me, but after like maybe 2 minutes of wrestling with it, it came off. So I just took that out and turned it aside. Next, you take out your spark plugs, and before you do, take a picture of how they all plug in so that when you do need to plug them back in, you know exactly where they go. These come out pretty easy. If they're stuck, don't be worried about it. Just pull at it. It should come out easy. Next, you will unbolt all of the 10 millimeter bolts that are holding in the valve cover. Now, there's no particular order that you need to take these off, but there is an order that you need to put them on. But right now, just take them all off. And once you take them out, keep track and put them somewhere. Put them in a bag, put them on like a piece of cardboard to know exactly where they go. Now they're all the same, but it helps you know where everything is and you don't lose anything. And then you just take that vacuum hose out with your pliers. You just unhook it and wiggle it back and forth until it comes loose. And there's a bolt back there. It is a 12 millimeter. And there's another 12 millimeter bolt on the other side, just right there. So you'll take both of those out and set them aside. And now you are finally ready to take it out. Now be gentle with it. Don't try to force it out. Move wires away if necessary, but this should easily just come out. It might get caught on the coil packet in the back, but just with a little finesse and patience, you can just pop it up right now. You also get a good look at the health of your engine. I need an oil change, pretty bad. So the next thing you'll do is wipe down and clean off all the surfaces. Luckily, I did not have any like goop that was stuck on there. It was a pretty new seal, I guess, but it started leaking, so I need to replace it. But yeah, just clean all the surfaces that the gasket will go onto. You might need to use a plastic razor blade if you have buildup from a previous gasket seal or whatever, but I was fortunate enough just to use a towel. I cleaned the front right here because there was a little oil on it. I don't know why, probably because of the leak, but I don't know if that's a problem or not, but I just cleaned it off. So now you will clean all the grooves in the valve cover. You could take this whole thing apart and clean everything and get all the oil out, but it's not necessary and I didn't want to waste my time doing that. and make sure you clean the middle sections right there as well. And the next thing you'll do is place your seal down. Try to avoid it touching any of the oil that's on your valve cover, just for a proper seal and nothing, sliding around. Make sure it's all properly seated and in place. You don't want there to be any creases or lifting on it, and make sure it's just snug in there. And once you check it over and wipe any excess oil off, you are good to go to put it in your engine. Now clean up any extra residue. If you missed anything, just double check everything, and then you are good to go to place the valve cover in. So with this, you want to be really mindful of not pinching the new valve cover seal. I accidentally did, and then I had to retake it all apart and replace it with a new one because I pinched it really bad. So just make sure everything is properly seated, especially the back of the engine. That's where it folded over and it wasn't properly sealed, and I had to get a new one. So double check everything. If you have to take the coil pack out, there's a 12mm bolt that's holding the rest of it in. You just take that out and it's a little bit easier to check back there. The torque specs on these bolts are 43 to 78 inch-pounds of torque. That is not foot-pounds, it is inch-pounds of torque. And then you will tighten them in a certain order, but I will tell you that in a little bit. I cleaned all my bolts just because why not, but you don't have to do that. And then you want to torque them down from the one in the middle will be first. Just look at the order that I do it in. One in the middle, and then one in the middle top, and then you'll go around like I'm doing right now. Make sure you don't over tighten these. Please torque them down to spec. I do not have a torque wrench, so I just kind of felt for it. But after I did it again, I did snap a bolt and have to get a new one. So be mindful of that. Follow torque spec and get a torque wrench if you have. If you don't have one, get one. If you do have one, use it. So next thing you do is just replace all of the seals, all of the bolts, and plug everything back in. And do everything basically in reverse order. Spark plugs will go back in, and make sure you take a picture of how you did it, how you took them out and where everything goes, and just plug them back all in. Well, and then you will plug in your PCV valve and you should be good to go. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it was informative. If I did anything wrong or you guys have any better suggestions, let me know down in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.